And now, from Glasgow.
So, hello everybody, welcome to Sunday. It's another weekly update. I've got various things to tell you, but first of all, I've got some terrible news. Just to sort of update you, it is Saturday, it's just gone 8 o'clock. I will be making a cut on this video because as I was about to sit down, I got a text message from FedEx to tell me that a parcel is on its way. So I will make a cut once he's been. I'll carry on recording and I'll show you what I've got because I'm really excited about it. So the bad news, not so much bad news but if anyone's been watching my channel for more than 2 years, you will remember that I got this little tiny kitten round about November. Little Shadow, little tiny thing. He used to sit on my shoulder. I used to go to bed and he'd lay on the pillow above me. It's like I was wearing a little hat. And then he'd play with all the boxes. Well, as you probably now already figured out, next month, October, September, October, I think it's October, he's 2 years old. The realisation hit me when I took them to the vets on Thursday. It's time for their annual boosters. They don't like going to the vets. Shadow just puts up with it. I think he's just been enough times now that he knows he gets shoved in a bag, gets taken to the vet, he gets taken out of the bag, he gets shoved back in. I'm saying this from his point of view, not from mine, obviously. He then gets shoved in the bag and then suddenly he ends up at home again. She is like some kind of cat sounding car alarm. It's just meow, meow all the way there. But yeah, he's 2 years old, so he's not really officially a little baby anymore. He will always be my little baby, but yeah, he's in fact I might just switch over to cat cam because it looks like he's about to jump up. Are you jumping up, mate? Come on then, Shadow, good boy. You're eyeing it up. There we go. There he is. That is a 2-year-old cat. So the other bad news is he is officially overweight. He's 5.1 kilos. He's not obese. He's just overweight. The vets told me off. She said, you must feed him according to the manufacturer's recommendations. Now, what I've always done with him, I've got this special indoor neutered male cat that's overweight food. Very expensive, actually. And then what I do is I give him that as his main food, and I normally give a set amount every day. This is for 2 of them. And then every morning what I do is I get the cup and I put the excess food in, then I top them up, and then I put it in the bowl. So obviously if they eat more, they get more new food. If they don't eat so much, then I don't give them quite so much new food. So they always start the morning with a set amount. Now, something I had in mind, when I first got Shadow, I was doing this coach work and I was away for a day and a half, and I used to just chuck down a load of food and a big bowl of water, and his cat litter would be done every couple of days. And he was absolutely fine. Obviously he was this big as well. And then obviously I did the London work. Sorry, I'm looking out for Spirit because she's turned up. She wants a bit of the fuss action. So yeah, I got Spirit. Well, I got Nymeria, then I got Spirit. And obviously I have to have a cat sitter come in. Now that I'm back doing the overnight coaches, the cat sitter, Linda, I hope you're watching. Hello, Linda. I think she does an absolutely amazing job. and I really wish I could pay her more money. But the bottom line is, I don't actually need her, but I want her. So I carry on, using her. I think using her is probably the right expression, because when you consider what she does for me and the amount I pay for her, I'm definitely using her. But she's a really good friend, and the cats love her, and she looks after the cats so well. So when I do a night shift, I'm actually away at night, away the whole next day, and then I come home the morning. So she'll come in on that day off, the day that I'm away. So what obviously, if I leave in the morning and she comes in the afternoon, and it's all gets complicated. So something I've been looking at for a while is an electronic cat feeder. And I bought it. Now, I was always going to put a webcam. I was going to get another webcam. I've got 2 webcams in the house, primarily that I can keep an eye on the cats. I need to get some more because they're only like 20 quid each. But it all links up to my phone, and there's absolutely nothing to watch. But let me show you the kitchen. It's actually in privacy mode now. So I don't know if you can see that very well, but that's my living room right now. Obviously there's no cats on there. So I want to get another one for the cat tree, because she sleeps a lot in the cat tree. And I wanted to get another one looking down on the food, so that I can then see when they're eating. Because from my perspective, I feed them in the morning. About 10 o'clock at night, there's about 3/4 of the food still left. I go to bed at night, I wake up in the morning, and most of the food is gone, which suggests to me that they eat mostly at night. But then obviously having a camera, it records all the times and everything, so I can see when they go. Now, I've seen a couple of cat feeders, and the one I saw was about 120 quid. It's got a camera in it, it's got 2 different hoppers, so I can put treats in one and food in another. And I was already going to spend 20 quid on the webcam, so in my kind of weird justifying spending money kind of way, it's only 100 quid. And I tell you what, guys, it is, here's Spirit, good girl. It is absolutely brilliant. If I can find it. So every time you can set it so that when they come to visit, it records, but that just creates too many videos. So is that actually going to work? So that is the cat feeder at the moment. You can see there's food in the bottom of the bowl, and you get a little vlog, and you set all the plans, and I'm still adjusting with the plans. I did have them being fed every 3 hours, and then I noticed that there was a bit of food building up, so I've changed it to every, so they have lost a couple of feeds. But let me show you this one. Like 4 in the morning, 4 in the morning, night snacks have been dispensed. And then you can actually go into the video and you can actually see the food coming out, which is dead handy, because obviously the question is the food, obviously the machine will do the actions, but does the food actually come out? As I say, you set the feeding plan. So there's my feeding plan at the moment, and you'll see 8 o'clock there looks a bit different, because they get 1 portion of food and 1 portion of treats. And it's absolutely, I love it, absolutely love it. And the hopper is about this tall, so I wouldn't ever do this, but I reckon the way they eat food, I could be away for 2 weeks before it ran out. And the other little thing is as well, I haven't figured this feature out fully, but they've got what they call a surplus food control. So just before it feeds, it has a look at the level of food in the bowl. If there's too much food in the bowl, it doesn't dispense anymore, so you don't get too much. But I don't think they're eating enough, because it's dispensing less than the manufacturer says, and I think I've been giving them less. Although I do give them a little bit extra for breakfast. They get a little bit of treats and they get a little meaty stick. She gets a pouch of cat food. He doesn't like it. Anyway, so I've waffled on about cats, which is, you know me. So house-wise, I'm really getting on with the house. So the webcams are made by a company called Tapo, T-A-P-O. And I'm happy with them. They're not very expensive. It's that kind of budget price, pushing budget price, but it's premium quality. The features are there. But what do you need on a webcam? It needs to be able to see. It wants to alert you when there's movement. And I think for 20 quid a camera, I think it's really earned its money. Now, they can be hooked up with that little device on the wall that you have a wake word, and it does silly things if you tell it to by voice. So I was kind of having a little play with it, and I can now hook up the cameras. So then kind of one thing led to another. I need to get a light bulb for the living room, so I thought, well, why not get smart bulbs for the whole house? And then I've got some smart plugs, and it's like, for example, this lighting I've got here, it's really awkward. I've got two lights. Each light has two lights. I've got two stalks, and each stalk has two lights. And the way to switch them off is you have to press and hold the power button for each one. And now I've got a smart plug, and I've plugged a double socket into the smart plug and plugged the lights into that. And now all I have to do is Echo, turn off hobby desk lights. Echo, turn on hobby desk lights. How good is that? That's so much easier for the sake of about, I think the plugs cost me about 5-6 quid each, and they're made by Tapo. So when you have an Alexa compatible device, you have to download the app, their app, and then you have to put it into Alexa. So obviously if I had different plugs made by different manufacturers, that might be 5 or 6 different apps on my phone. So I've gone for the one brand. I've got all the smart lights are all sorted out. It's just the kitchen and the bathroom that don't have them, because they've got special lights with special bulbs that you can actually have in wet areas. You know, obviously the steam will get in, so the light bulbs are, and then those funny little, they look like little triangle lights. I don't know anything technical. Now the absolutely brilliant thing is I've gone to the next stage on the spray booth. So the spray booth is very nearly complete. What I've got to do, I've put the fan in, and I've got the compressors all set up, and there's something else, lights, compressor. I'm sure there's something else. I'm sure there's 3 things. Compressor, light, I don't know. Now that's, they're all plugged into a smart strip. So you get 4 plugs, like, I don't know what you call them. It looks like this, but there's only 4 plugs, and the whole thing is smart. So you can control the whole strip or individual plugs. And now the plan is that I want the lights on and the compressor running when I do some airbrushing, but because the paints are going to be lacquer based, which obviously affects my asthma, and the fan lights, compressor, so what I want to do is, when I close down the spray booth, I don't want the fan to finish, because I want to shut the lid and keep the fan going just to sort of extract the fumes. So I've managed to create a routine, so I can say spray booth on or spray booth off, and that will switch everything on or everything off. But what I can do on top, I've made a command called finished painting, and then what it does, you guys are probably laughing at me because they're probably looking at this and going, yes, Penny, welcome to the 21st century. So if I say finish painting, it switches off the lights, it switches off the compressor, it then waits 30 minutes, which I can change that time, and then it switches off the fan, which I think is fantastic. Now I've got another fan that I've connected to the back of the desk on the bottom, because my PC is all water controlled, and if you want to know how good it is, you need to speak to a chappie called Horlicks, because that's where I got the PC from. It's absolutely fantastic. The chances of it overheating are very slim, but I have got it kind of enclosed, and I'm a little bit worried about the airflow. So just as belt and braces, I've got another fan, and then that fan will be on, but that'll be connected to the PC desk, or this craft desk. So again, I can say at the end of the day, hobby room off, and then it'll switch everything off, and then maybe run the fan for another 10 minutes. And then when I say hobby fan on, hobby desk on, that fan will run. I'll switch the PC on, and away I go. So it's all very fancy and technical for me anyway. But the consequences, I've just had so many deliveries in the last few days. I've got all the boxes to sort out. This is like a day's worth of deliveries. I'm like a kid at Christmas when I get a parcel. Hey, here comes all the boxes. Oh yeah, I'll sort them out later on. Right guys, so what's been happening in the last week? So last week we had, on the Monday, we had Robocop issue 35, 36, 37, 38. I took a little bit of a gamble. That is the most up-to-date issue that I've got, and I worked on the basis that in 2 weeks after that, the next issue of Robocop would have come. So now I'm at the stage where, talking to you today, tomorrow is ET, the week after is Robocop. I don't have the new pack of Robocop, but it's on its way. By the time the Robocop is due for release, I'll have the pack. I can do 2 videos, so we'll do 2 issues per video, and then this time next month I'll be in the same situation. They're filmed, haven't got the next pack, but I'm not due it yet. So yeah, the next Robocop will be 2nd of September. September's only about a week away. By this time next week it will be September. How scary is that? All of you English people will be gone, getting ready for the kids to go back to school. In Scotland they've already been back 2 weeks. So by the time your kids go back to school, ours have been back for 3 weeks. Having grown up in England, it's a really weird thing. The holidays all being different times from England, and it's just really crazy. Maybe that's why Scotland and England has different bank holidays in August. Our August bank holiday, I think, is the first Monday in August. The English bank holiday is the last August, which actually is really, really handy for me, because when I book my holiday from work, I try to get the end of August off, which is the English bank holiday. Most people in Scotland don't want that week off. They want the first week in August. So I'm not fighting with the whole depot to get a bank holiday week off. I can take a bank holiday that nobody wants. So that's a little bit handy. I want to ask you guys a question. I was talking about this to a friend of mine. I get 5 weeks holiday a year, and holiday to me is just time off work, sitting at home, catching up with stuff. Lovely, you know. And I was thinking about actually having a holiday. Now, when I'm at work, the cats are a bit disrupted because I'm not home all day. I mean, they're used to it. But, you know, majority of the week, they see me for a couple of hours. I go to bed, I get up, I give them food, and I give them a bit of cuddles, and then I'm off again. So what holiday means to them is I'm home all day. Like right now, I mean, look, this is what Shadow thinks holiday means, you know, and he's just taking advantage of it while he can. But I'm actually thinking about going away, completely shut down, not making any models, nothing complicated. Maybe just book a caravan somewhere coming up to the end of the season, or you know, the end of August, and just chill out and do something that I could probably do at home that I never do, like read a book. Just sitting in a caravan, read a book, listen to radio all day, and just do nothing. And then by the end of the holiday, I'm like, I can't wait to get home. That kind of holiday. Few little drinks, maybe, not getting drunk, just, you know, just chill. But I won't be able to take the cats with me, because they obviously don't travel well. And to travel from Scotland to, say, Cornwall, that would just be an absolute nightmare for them. Do you think I'm nasty to want a holiday without the cats? It's not that I want a holiday without the cats. It's just I want to do a holiday, but I'm not going to be able to take the cats with me. So tell me your thoughts, guys. You know, I don't spend huge chunks of quality time with the cats, just days off. And I'm looking for a huge chunk of time which I'm going to take away from the cats. Am I cruel? Am I too spoily on the cats? Am I thinking, you know, you guys who've got kids, don't you occasionally have a holiday without the kids? You know, you send them on their holiday and then, or they go round their nans for the week, and then you bog off and have a holiday without them, and you come back and you go, yeah, I needed that break. I don't know. What do you think, guys? Anyway, so tomorrow is ET. ET's going really well. I love ET. We are still doing, I say we're doing catch up. I've got tomorrow's episode is already up, and the 9th of September, which will be 2 weeks time, that's already up. So I don't know whether to make, I think if I did all of the next pack, if I did them all in one video, I think that might be a bit too much. So I might just keep it. We're going to be a couple of weeks behind on ET, or maybe I could do, well, I need to do 3 episodes per video anyway. So on to Tuesday. There is nothing on Tuesday, but next week, the 3rd of September, I will be bringing the Warhammer. I absolutely promise you that. I will crack on with that. Wednesday, so last week we began on the Okra B-type bus, and I think that's gone down quite well. I haven't actually looked at the viewing figures for it. Let me just fire that up now. I'm sorry, I should have looked. So I would suggest that the viewing figures for it is okay. It's looking about as popular as the ET, more popular than the Robocop, probably about as popular as a channel update. I mean, it's only been up 2 days and it's got 52 views compared to the channel update, which is a week old, that's got 54 views. Infinity Gauntlet isn't so big. I think that's going to be alright. I think that's being taken in quite well, but it is the first stage. So you'll get a lot of interest viewers. Some of those will go, no, this isn't really what I want to watch. But I'm enjoying making it. So the first 3 episodes have already been filmed. I need to crack on with the 4th, and what's coming later on will help me with that, believe it or not. Now Thursday, God, Infinity Gauntlet. So I would like to say the Infinity Gauntlet's going really well. I have filmed that right up to stage 69. Now the episode that you're going to see this week is Premium Base 3. So, spoiler, it's not really anything you haven't seen, except 1 or 2 of the part numbers are slightly different. Now next week, 5th of September, You've got issue 67, 68, 69. I couldn't do issue 70 because it wasn't. They said it wasn't in stock. Yeah, 70. They said it wasn't in stock, or 71. See, they've been mucking around with it so much, I can't remember where we should be up to. Right, it should have been issue 71 that was missing, so I should have been able to do issue 70. But what they did was they sent me the magazine for issue 70 and the parts for issue 71. Not the biggest problem in the world, because issue 70 is, you know what it's like when you start a new section on the Infinity Gauntlet. The first one, you know, you do the panels and they say, here's a panel, wait till the next issue. Then you do the next issue and it's like, screw the two parts together. That is what issue 70 is anyway. So you're not losing out by not seeing it. I contacted Fan Home, and I also spoke to Scott. I've been in contact with Scott from Building with the Boys quite a lot on this. I think he's more frustrated than me, actually. He has a similar attitude to me, as in it is what it is. But I think inside he's like, this is really annoying. And with the problems he's had with Fan Home on various things, well, mostly on Infinity Gauntlet, you can understand it. So anyway, so the next pack of Infinity Gauntlet has been released. You were supposed to get parts for 70, magazine 71, and then issues 72 to 76. But guess what? 76 is not ready. So you're only going to get parts for 75. Now, I'm going to get my phone ready because I'm going to refer to a text message from Scott so that I can give you information that is actually accurate. Bear with me. And this is what, it's kind of screwed me up and it hasn't screwed me up. Right, so we're supposed, I think he's already received his parts. Now, he has got, right, he said, have I got the gauntlet? Have they sent 70 or another 71? So I said, well, I've not got any yet and I'm still away. I think he gets his before mine. I don't know why. He says, strangely, there's no part missing. Still haven't got issue 70. Haven't got the t-shirt. And he's got, oh, but he's got parts 72 to 76. 76 is supposed to be missing. I can't remember if they've charged us for it. So he's then contacted them and they've said we won't get part 70 until 98 is released. Now, according to my calculations, part 98 is going to be part of the last pack. They're releasing 5 issues every pack. That means pack 20 will take us to issue 96. So 98 is only 100 parts in it. That will be pack 21, which should contain 4 issues. So we're not going to be able to build until we've got the last pack, which is, get this, due in December-ish, roughly. So now, I'm not a fan of building out of sequence. It can be done, and if I have to, I will. So if part 70 is missing, and I can, and like say for example, part 70, I'm making this up, part 73 might be starting a new finger. I don't really like to do that because I'm out of sequence, and then what's going to happen is my videos are going to be released. You've got, this week we've got part 94, next week is part 95, next week's part 71. You know, people are going to go, well, what the hell's going on? I think, thinking about it, we're going to be able to build it without part 70. So there'll be about 3 or 4 stages where I just won't be able to build because there'll be panels for the arm. Now, I thought about this. you've got to build the fingers before you assemble the actual gauntlet, because the gauntlet is going to hold the fingers in. So what is obviously going to happen is I will build what I can, and I'm wondering whether I'm going to have to mention that 70 and 71 hasn't been built yet. But what concerns me is they've actually asked you to assemble part of the gauntlet, but you screw it in with 2 screws at the top, and then the bottom bit is just held in by tabs, and you just slightly touch it and the tabs come out. They're only locating tabs. Now once the panel's on the side, I don't know if you can actually see, let me get, so there's the gauntlet there. Can you see there's a hole there where and then there's another hole on the other side. Now at the top of the gauntlet, not the top, it's fixed with 2 screws. But at that point there, let me get a cocktail stick, because it's a little bit of a better pointy stick then, isn't it? So, right, so there and there is a locating tab about that long, and it's about 2 millimeters deep. So it's not really, it's resting more than actually locating. And if you so much as move it, if I now went up to that and I picked it up by that bit, the whole thing will come apart. And if it's only held on by 2 screws at the top, and with the weight of it, it's just going to rip it apart. So I daren't touch it. So I think what's going to happen is apparently the fingers start in the next pack. The next finger starts. Once we get onto the fingers, we've got something to build. But I don't think life should be like this. You know, if you're building something and you're doing it for YouTube, you shouldn't have to rejiggle the way you're going to do all your videos, which is what I've had to do here. So, you know, some people are sort of saying, some people I believe have actually cancelled the builds for various reasons. Some people have said, I'm not going to do any more fan home builds. Now the problem I've got is I've got the Robocop and I've got the ET, and I really cannot fault them at all. Someone made a post on the ET forum, and they said, oh, I'm thinking about starting the ET, but I've heard about problems with it. And my genuine answer was, I don't know where you heard about problems with the ET, because it's been brilliant. I know Peter Webster's family has had a problem with this one pack, but I'll be honest with you, I'm still at the stage where I can stick up for fan home. You've had one issue with one issue, you know, you've got one problem with one issue. Well, you know, that's less than what we're up to with with ET. 30. So you got something like a 3% defect rate on it. You know, I don't think that's a lot. I've not had any problems with the ET that I can remember. I've had one problem with the Robocop. There was a piece missing. No, hang on. I had a problem with the Infinity Gauntlet. I had a damaged. The LEDs were damaged, and I had a part missing on the Robocop. So that's still about 1% on each one. And they sent me a replacement within 2 weeks. It might have been quicker, I don't know, I was away in London at the time. But you know, you get home, you got a faulty part, you contact Fan Home, you say I've got a problem with the part, and then you go away to do some work and you come home and there's the replacement part. I don't think you can complain about that. But the problems I've had with the Infinity Gauntlet, I think I am now in the camp of I'm not going to get another Fan Home build. You know, and it's when I've made decisions like this, I've not always been wrong. I'm seeing moans now about the Lancaster. I was 50-50 with the Lancaster, mainly because of I was heavily influenced by the Spitfire build. That was quite badly designed on the workings, and I thought, well, it's not a problem because I'm the kind of person that once that Eddie Stobart there, which is finished, I can't work out, right, there we go. that Eddie Stobart is finished. And when I finished it, I played with all the lights. Every time someone came round, oh, have a look at this, switch it on. The reality is it's not been touched for a couple of months. It's just sitting there now, looking really nice. And that's probably what the Infinity Gauntlet will do. It's what the Spitfire is going to do. You know, I'm not going to be switching it on. I might turn the propeller on every now and again. But I don't need it doing all the bits. And that influenced, because that broke on the others, that influenced me on the Lancaster. And we haven't got to the mechanicals on the Lancaster yet, but there's already so many complaints about it. And it's typical part work. You get all your good issues out, sort of first 5 or 6 issues, get people to commit, and then once they've committed, now you can get your weaker issues out. And I think you have, when you look at a part work, you've got to look at what will be the weaker issues. What's the worst that could happen? Robocop, I don't think the Robocop actually does anything. I think it's got some voice commandy things. Well, that can't go wrong, can it? Because that's not mechanical. The ET has a light up finger and it has a neck, and that's essentially it with the ET, isn't it? And it's got voicey things. So, you know, looking, and I think the skin, I know there's going to be people complaining about the framework, because part work, we as part work modelers, we're a funny bunch. People will probably complain about the structure of the ET, even though there's a skin going to go over the top and you're not going to see the inside. I can remember when the Spitfire was, when we had the wings come in on the Spitfire, and someone had gone on and said, because we've got all the inner framework, and someone was posting on Facebook, I've measured the framework and it's inaccurate. It makes the Spitfire 1.5 foot wingspan too low. And we're like, dude, it's the inner frame. We've still got the outer skin to go out on top. And sure enough, once the outer frame came on, it extended each wing by about that much, which if you translate that to 1:12 is roughly what he said the measurement should be. Because you know, us part works, we complain about things before it's finished building. The Lancaster, they're complaining that the propellers are spinning the wrong way. Well, it's not got the circuit board in. How do you know it's going to spin the wrong way? You know, all this, that and the other. Anyway, I'm waffling way too much now. So yeah, there's the Gauntlet. So the Gauntlet is going to start coming out funny at some point. So work-wise, work has gone really, really well. I'll tell you a funny story actually. So I've got this new phone. It's nothing major. I had the Fold 4, and it's got a fault with it. When you fold it, it just disconnects. And I love this for my sat nav, using it as a sat nav. And I got this phone, and it's a really good phone for someone of my age. My age. What have I just said there? So if you're a teenage kid who wants all the latest tech on the phone, and you want all the AI and stuff, and you want it to do fancy bells and whistles, do not get this phone. If you want a brand new phone that makes and receives phone calls, it's got a reasonable processor speed, you can use it for sat nav, because this is a funny thing, we have the booking app. You know, when you get on a coach and the driver scans you on, the software we use for that is actually mobile phone based, but for some reason it only works on a Samsung. Now the company provides us mobile phones to do it, but because I've got a Samsung, I can download the work software onto the phone, so I can scan my customers on with my phone. The sat nav is still accurate, because obviously the sat nav is based on Google servers, and it can access them at a reasonable speed. And with the network provider I've got reasonable coverage, and as a result the phone is very, very cheap. I think this phone on a 3-year deal was 40 something pounds a month. This phone on a 2-year contract is 20 quid a month. That's excluding the airtime contract. So this 40 quid a month for 3 years, 20 quid a month for 2 years. You know, but like I say, if you I'm seeing adverts for like if someone's wearing a Man United t-shirt, you can circle it, and then Google will search it and find where you can buy it. Right, fine. If I was a Man United fan, I'll go and buy your phone. It doesn't have that technology. This doesn't even have wireless charging. I have to plug it in, which is fine. You know, it's can you live with that? So, yeah, got this phone. And I was going to say something else about the phone. Yeah, but yeah, same. The phone's absolutely fine now. I'm quite happy with it. And of course, I've been sitting there. The only issue I've had with that phone is every now and again it seems to slow down and hang on me. And but every time I've done that, I'm like, yeah, I've not reset the phone for about 3 days. So Samsung A35. So if you do get the Samsung A35, and I think I might be pushing it more than it's designed to do, but just reboot the phone every couple of days. That's it. So work-wise, I've now got a busy work schedule coming up. I'm still on the spare rota, which I will be for a few weeks. When it's like any company, you've got certain rotas to do certain things. So let's say, you know, with a bus company, let's say you've got 10 bus services, 1 to 10, and then what you do is you come in and they can't put you on a rota. Maybe there's not space, or maybe they just need to put you somewhere, and then you'll find yourself doing whatever you allocate. So you might do the number 1 one day, and then tomorrow you've got the number 7, and the day after you've got the number 3, and then someone's on holiday the next week, so you might have a week of number 4s. It's pretty much what at the stage I'm at with this company. But I keep saying to him I'd rather do the Londons. The fact that they pay £1.50 an hour more. Oh, and get this, guys, I didn't know this. When I was with the company before, we only did southbound to London, and we didn't get cross-border money. And the other drivers were going, oh, we should get cross-border money because that's the way it works for companies. Whereas my attitude was, well, but we get more money per hour, but we don't get cross-border money. Doesn't that now balance out? And they're like, yeah, no, but it doesn't work like that. Well, in the last week, I've discovered we get more money per hour for driving the buses than other companies, some other companies, not all other companies. I don't know if we're the highest paid coach drivers in Scotland, but we ain't far off. We then get more money if we're going south, an extra £1.50 an hour. And get this, every time we go to London, which is a 2-day trip, we get an additional £14 to cover our breakfast. Fantastic. And the hotel we're staying at, it's a travel lodge. They do evening meal. They do like a meal deal, a main course and a side or a dessert for 14 quid. And they do breakfast for a tenner. So, depending on whether you're doing nights or day shifts, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a word with them, because it's really weird. You could order like chicken, right, and the chicken will come with chunky chips and whatever else chicken comes with, and then for your side you can order chunky chips. Why do you need 2 portions of chunky chips? So I'm going to say to them, like, I'm not a big eater, is there any chance I could have a coffee but charge me as a side? I'm sure they'll say yes, because what's a coffee? 3 quid? 2-3 quid in a hotel? You know, so replace a £5 side or £6 side with a £2 cup of coffee. I'm pretty sure they'll do that. And also, they've got a garage next door, a petrol station, so I can pick some sandwiches up, and then obviously I take my sandwiches down with me, so I don't have to. Anyway, so yeah. But I've got all southbound, what we call southbounds. When I say southbound, I mean we're doing a 2-day trip to London there and back. And so I've got 6 days working with the same guy. I know the guy. I've never worked with him, but he was at the company when I was there before. Really nice guy. I remember what I was going to say about the mobile now. Yeah, so I've got 6 days work with him, and I'm really looking forward to that now, because it's going to be fun. So what I was going to say, so my notification sound I just did a little bit of editing on some software, and this was my notification tone.
Nice.
I don't know if you heard that. Hopefully you did. I'll play it again just in case.
Nice.
Right, I like it. I think it's quite funny. 2 issues with it though. First of all, it's very loud, which isn't a problem. I can always go into the MP3 editor and just reduce the volume a bit. But you know, you're driving along and then all of a sudden it goes nice. The second problem I've got is because of that, it's actually a lip smack and then nice. The guy, I forget who it's called, but he's talking about eating hot potatoes or something, and he's going, it's too hot, blow on it, pop it in your mouth, nice. Yeah, and that's the full context of it. But because I've just got that lip smack, I think it sounds like maybe slapping someone's bottom and then going nice, which obviously is a little bit naughty. The other thing is as well, a bit embarrassing, sometimes just by coincidence you get the notification tone. You might be having a conversation with someone and then suddenly you get the notification tone. Now sometimes it works out really funny timing. So made up conversation, talking to someone, and they say to me, oh, do you know what, nice bit of luck, I got a tax rebate, 300 quid came through yesterday, notification tone comes through, nice, really nice. But this actually happened. I'm talking to the driver, we've got a full bus at the front, so I've got 4 passengers behind us, talking to the driver, I know they can hear us, and then he says, oh, did you hear about that accident the other day? Some bus went out of control and it ran over a child and they died. Text notification, nice. And I'm like, that was totally inappropriate. So I've changed it to Vala Morghulis, which is a Game of Thrones reference. So yeah, be careful what you have on your notification tones, guys. There's some really good notification tones, but most of them are totally inappropriate to have around like kids and stuff like that. You know, there's you've got ringtones and it's like someone is calling, you know, and if you're going to stand in the middle of a bus station, crowded people around, and then that starts playing, I can see complaints coming in. So hello gorgeous, are you being cute now? See, this is the trouble. You see him from the opposite side of me, but he's kind of half rolled over with his belly to me. He doesn't like his belly being touched, but I still touch it anyway, don't I? It's that bit that I don't... Oh, you're letting me get away with it. Yeah, you see, back leg comes up. He's ready to attack my hand. He's just got such a lovely belly. It's just so strokeable, and he just doesn't let me stroke it. It's like a shag pile rug. And it's just, oh, look at you. You're handsome and you know it. You're handsome and you know it. Do. Yeah, you know, don't you? He knows when I'm talking to him as well. He acts dumb, but he's the smartest. He's got used to the cat feeder now, because he knows. Well, it's not fully used to it. It kind of yesterday when not yesterday, day before, I set the cat feeder up, and I purposely, because you can do extra feeds, you can actually go onto your phone and press a button and it feeds them. So what I did is I was testing it out, and I got my scales out, and I was doing one portion and I was weighing it, and then I was doing 2 portions and weighing it, and I did that like 3 times for every portion size up to 5, and then I did it for the second hopper, and it isn't consistent. It's like the first, if you do 1 portion, that's the biggest portion you'll get. The next, if you do 2 portions, you don't get quite twice as much. I think you get like 10 grams for 1 portion and 17-18 grams for 2 portions. And then if you do 5 portions, one of those portions will be about 3 or 4 grams. So you're much better feeding them frequently, lots of small feeds, because your first feed, I think it's where the treats are coming down in the hopper. They just need a second just to settle, and by doing 2 feeds it doesn't give it time to settle. But what I purposely did, because it made him jump the first time they did it, so I put a portion in, and then I brought the cats to it, and then they knew it was food, and then I took the food out and I did another one, and they were fine. And then what I purposely did was I gave them an extra portion as they were eating, and it did scare them a little bit. And then, but now he's at the point where if he is near the machine when it feeds, he's like, oh yeah, okay, carry on. But I noticed this morning I have the feed set for 8 o'clock, and the 8 o'clock feed, instead of being 1 portion of food, it's 1 portion of food and 1 portion of treats. And I noticed on the video camera yesterday, he's having quite a few times he's going up and he's just having a sniff around. I think he knows there's treats in there sometimes, but he was sitting where he is now, and the machine gave treats, gave food, and I heard him jump off and go. Well, he kind of casually walked. It was that I'm not in a rush, but I am. I'm in a rush, but I'm trying to make it look like I'm not kind of walk. You know that? Rather than a full-on run. And then he went and he found some treats, and he spent about 2 or 3 minutes eating. But usually he just grazes. But he's definitely getting used to it. The only problem is now, where normally I have the food so they can be facing the wall, I've actually turned it so it's facing down the hallway, and the reason for that is it then has the wet cat food and the water in view, so I can see them drinking and eating the other food as well. But I'm just wondering, they do this water feeder, and it's got a camera on it, and it records every time they drink water, and I'm thinking, do I really need it? Do I need to know when they're drinking? I need to know the fact that they're drinking. I keep having to take I had the electronic water feeder, and Peter Webster very kindly sent me another one, and the cats play with it. So I'm having a little bit of a struggle. I haven't been able to install it, the new one, actually, because the lead is, I've got to get the lead round under the door. So I might give that a try, but I don't think I don't need a camera and a notification alert system just to know that they've had a drink. What I need to do is look down at the level, and if it's lower than last time I looked, that's all I need to know. You know, there's so much thing as too much flash, isn't there? Hello, what are you after? Are you waiting for 12 o'clock for your next food to come out, so that you can run and have a look for the treats, and then you'll be disappointed because you've had your treats today? Yeah. Right, guys, so I'm going to do this cut now because I've got an unboxing to do on an item that I haven't received yet. Now, the message says, I can't believe it. So I order, most of my stuff comes from MJR Hobbies. I might order from Jedlams, and I might order from E-Models. E-Models, is it called E-Models? I can't remember the name of them now. They do a weekly stream anyway. Well, more than weekly. And they're a shop as well as... And then obviously if there's anything specialist I need to get, then obviously I'll buy that. And now, Scale Model Shop, they have things in stock that MJR is my number one choice. I'm sorry, guys, if you're a fan of someone else. And I'll actually buy from MJR even if Jedlam has the same item a little bit cheaper, because I know MJR are less than retail price, and he's a hard working guy with a little bricks and mortar store, and I think it's just a shame because when I saw him before, he has this nice simple approach. I'm sorry you can't see me, guys, because of the cat's tail, but that's just the way it is. I don't know who gets more fur balls, him or me, but then if I keep kissing him I will do, won't I? So yeah, I said to what he does, he advertises on Facebook. It's a nice little system, and he says, "Oh, I'm getting this in stock. Can I have general interest levels?" And people go, yeah. And then he knows how many to order, and he can then maximise, because obviously he can't fill his shop up full of stuff that won't sell. And then if he's got pre-orders, most of this stuff will just, it gets delivered, taken out of the box, put into a new box, sent off. And I said to him, I go, if you don't mind me asking, what proportion are you doing sort of shop sales and internet sales? And he says it's about 70-30, which I take that as meaning if he wasn't selling on, via Facebook and online, he probably wouldn't make enough money to have the business going. He's got about three members of staff, I think. So he's doing well, and most of that is due to online orders. And it's such a shame because I do try to use bricks and mortar stores, but the bricks and mortar stores just don't exist. There's some really nice stores out there. I mean, Man's Model Moments, I've used him a couple of times. Really happy with the service. But I'll be honest with you, I'd much rather go into his shop and buy, because, and I know Man's Model Moments are like this, I can go in, like say, again, I'm making this up, I'll go, look, I'm thinking about a Spitfire, I want to do this, and I'm thinking maybe a Spitfire. And he'll go, right, yeah. Oh, what about this one? Well, are you a beginner? Are you advanced? Chit chat, and then I end up coming out with a B52 because it's going to suit my needs more. And I love stores like that. You go in thinking you want to buy something, and you end up coming out with something else. There was the bricks and mortar store I used to go to as a kid, and thinking about it, I'm not surprised by this. It's shut down now, and you would go in as a kid, you would look at a model, you'd buy the model, and that was it. The only thing I used to do, because they don't always print the paint call outs on the box, you have to open it up and look at the instructions. So I always used to say to the guy, because I couldn't always afford to buy every single paint that I need, so what I'm after is like maybe buying the paints to get me through, say, the first 10 stages. So I'd say to them, oh, if I promise to buy it, can I open it up and have a look at the instructions? And they'd be like, yeah, no problems. And then, because it's obviously, I've seen the kit, it's one that I want to buy. And then I'd look through the instructions, I'd be making notes on a bit of paper, right, I need this paint, this paint, this paint. And then I'd pick all the paints up, then I'd buy the paints. But thinking about it now, there's very little customer service there. It's very nice to have someone go, why do you want this model? The Lidl models, I apologise to everybody. I thought they were coming out Thursday. I went down to Lidl's on Thursday and I wandered round, had a look. Couldn't find them. Had a word with a guy in the store, and he had a little look and he went, no, it's coming out Sunday. So that leaflet that you get, it's for the week, not just for the Thursday. So I apologise, guys, but I've seen a couple of other people do videos and they've said Thursday as well. So the format that they do the leaflet, it kind of makes you think it's Thursday, but if you do think it's Thursday, it's your fault for not reading it properly. And I think that's quite a good marketing ploy, because I went in for some Airfix starter sets and I came out with 4 trays from my fridge and a metal cabinet, which just totally didn't need. Had to fight against the DIY stuff because I got some nice DIY stuff in. fought very hard with myself to not buy it, and I did win. So yeah, so I apologise, guys. So Sunday morning, get yourself down to Lidl's. There is a video on my channel. It's almost a week old now. 5 days old, 6 days old by the time you watch this. So have a look at the video, but just replace the word Thursday with Sunday. So yeah, guys, that's it. So I won't say goodbye because I'm going to continue. That's what I was going to tell you. So yes, so I've got this email, this text message, FedEx. Now scale model. That's really, see, I go off on a tangent so much. So when I can't get what I need from the other shops, scale model shop. Well, right. So I say it's my second choice shop. With Man's Model Moments. It's Man's Model Moments is pushing really hard to be my second choice, and I've just spotted another one. I've known about them for ages, but I've just never bought anything. Model kits for sale. I've never used them, but apparently the guy is really nice. He works really hard, and he basically gets, I think it looks like mostly second-hand kits, and then he sells them on. And I just think that's a business that's worth encouraging. So, you know, maybe he's, but anyway, Scale Model Shop. Now, the only problem I found with Scale Model Shop is because of my payday, I order on a Friday, and then if he does get the order made on the day, it probably isn't collected until Monday. And we're usually looking at Wednesday or Thursday before it arrives. He doesn't have the supersonic, delivery times that Amazon has. Now I'm just going to fire up my emails, just so I can get my facts correct. Now my new job, I get paid on a Thursday, but right. So I actually ordered this item on a Friday morning because I had to wait for some more money to come through. The order confirmation came through at 7:49 in the morning, so we can reasonably expect that he hasn't begun work yet. And then at 10:37 I get a thank you for your order tracking details. And then at 10:51 it says your order has been dispatched. Now in my experience, your order has been dispatched. What that means is the order's been made up, it's been put in the box, the invoice has been printed off, and the box is sealed. Now we're waiting for the courier whenever they turn up. Now you have a choice of shipping options. If you spend over 60 quid, you're eligible for free shipping. However, you can still choose things like Royal Mailed 48-hour couriers, next day, this, that and the other. I never buy anything because I need it now this second, so I just take the free shipment, which means he's going to pick the cheapest option he can, which probably means the slowest. So it turns out he's given me a FedEx tracking number, so I'm thinking that ain't going to get collected till Monday. And then I get this, it got picked up. And actually I did get an email saying expected delivery Wednesday. They even gave me a time, which I thought was really crazy. Have I still got it? Have I still got it? Might do. There we go. Oh. No, it's the wrong email. I don't know. Anyway, so yesterday afternoon I get your package is on its way, and they actually gave me a time. It was like between 9 and 11, and I'm like, how do you know what time you're going to deliver it 3 or 4 days before you deliver it? Anyway, so I got a message this morning. Your parcel is out for delivery today on a Saturday. It's estimated between 9:20 and 13:20, so that says to me it should be here by 11. It's 9:20 now. Because I know how the delivery slots work, because when I worked for DPD, this is what they did. So their little machine, it's all linked to, it uses some geography software as well as TomTom. So it can calculate how long it's going to take you to get to each drop. They then give you like 2 minutes per drop, and it can work out when you're due to be at wherever you are. And then what it will do is it will give you a time slot of half an hour before and half an hour after. So if they say between 10 and 11, what it actually means is the delivery software is calculated that they'll be there at half 10. So they've given you between 10 and 11. Now the good courier drivers, if you work it out right, and you know you can go faster than the system, they jiggle their start time. So what I used to do was, if I had a big area where I know I can bang parcels out quickly, I would set my start time for an hour before or 3/4 of an hour before I actually leave the depot. So that means all my deliveries at about 9 o'clock are all being delivered towards the end of the delivery time. And then what would happen is I would get a little bit quicker. I would make up maybe a minute every drop, and by the time I got to the end of the day, you might get someone with a delivery slot between 4 and 5. They're getting their parcel at 4 o'clock. You can also skip your meal break, which I'm telling you this unofficially. As far as anyone is concerned, all courier drivers, they all take an hour lunch break. They sit in their van somewhere and they chill and relax, and they have a proper break. What they do not do is take a packed lunch and a couple of bottles of Coke with them, and then in between drops they grab a sandwich while they're driving to try and make time up. They don't do that at all. And that's how obviously you can get. So if they've given me a 4-hour time slot, what that realistically means is it's going to be in the middle. So that's 11:20. If he's done the same trick I used to do, we might be looking more at 12 o'clock. But then by 12 o'clock, he's probably starting to make some time up. So I don't know how long I'll be here. So in the next cut, you may well see the room tidier, because I'm going to be doing bits and bobs. However, my main priority is the kitchen. I got some new pots and pans. I got those nice Tefal ones. Oh yeah, I had the thing somewhere. I kept the box lid. Please don't say I threw it out. Oh, I kept it just for you guys. So, oh no. See, this is what happens when I have mad frantic cleaning sessions. I haven't thrown it. I know I haven't. So, yeah. Right, so basically what had happened, all of my pots and pans, all the non-stick is scraped off. I've had at least 2 lodgers that thinks it's absolutely fine to cook in non-stick pans with metal spatulas. And then one of them thought it was a great idea to get burnt food off a non-stick pan with a steel wool pad. So I've got one wok it's that bad it's actually gone rusty, and there's no way I'm using that. And I've been looking at this, it's Tefal Ingenio or something it's called. If I find the box, I did keep the box lid, because the pans are so heavy. I'm not showing you the pans. And they were 350 quid. So as you can imagine, with having the cats and you know, the last job wasn't paying as well as I was hoping. Those pots and I've got pots and pans, I can still cook, but obviously it's a lower priority. Suddenly I see this offer, £399 for a 22-piece set, reduced to 150. Well, I was all over that. So I've got a £400 pan set for 150 quid. So yeah, I got that. So that's part of the reason why there's boxes everywhere. I'm going to find that bit of cardboard. Anyway, guys, so kitchen needs to be done. I've got brand new pans to wash, because obviously when you buy the pans, you need to wash them before you use them, because they have what I call manufacturer's film on it. Some of them have like a very light layer of grease. I don't know if that's from the manufacturing process or if it's just had a build up in the box. Maybe it's really old stock. Shadow, will you get down from there, please? He's an idiot. So I was doing some work on the spray booth yesterday. Now this desk, I've pulled it forward a little bit. I should have put wheels on it from the start. I thought it'd be a really good idea to put wheels on after I've built the table, and that didn't work out. So I do very occasionally need to go round the back to sort of, all my wires, I've drilled holes in it so all the wires can go through, so every now and again I need to go back behind. So what I've done to save myself an awful lot of hassle, I've just pulled the whole desk forward so there's a gap big enough that I can walk sideways down. It's not full shoulder width, it's about that wide. Now what he's been doing is he's been jumping up and he's been going behind. Now when they go behind the desk, they run the risk of knocking the cables and all the power cuts, and it's bloody annoying. So I've been putting bits of wood up temporarily just to block it, and I had the spray booth out, and then I put the bits of wood back, but I didn't cover the window bit properly, and I see him jump up and he was half in, and I tried to grab him. Well, because if I sort of shout at him, he rushes, and he jumped in behind the desk. Now the thing is, the bit of spray booth that he was on at the back was like this high, and then he's jumped down onto the floor. So I thought, not a problem. I say, I'll get him out. The way I can get him out is I go to the cupboard where the food is kept. I flick the lock 2 or 3 times. He hears the lock. He comes running out. So I flick it and I can hear him trying, and I can hear him. He's hitting against bits of wood. He can't get out because he can't jump up into a tiny gap. He can squeeze through when it's high enough, but he couldn't get back. I had to pull the whole bloody spray booth out just to get him out, and he keeps going up there. It's because it's in an area that he's not explored. Where are you, mister? Come on, out of there, please. You know I don't like you in there. So, yeah, but he's just... I don't know if maybe he likes the silicone mat. But he's not... I suspect he's just tried, but I have fully blocked it up. Anyway, guys, I'm going to disappear now. I'll see you in what will be in a second for you, but it'll probably be a few hours for me. I'll see you shortly. Right, guys, so it is 10 past 10 now, so I'm quite happy with how quickly they've arrived. I was eating my breakfast at the time when he delivered it, so it came about 10 minutes ago. So this is my little parcel. So as you can see, you're seeing it for the first time, so if there's anything wrong with it, you're going to see it on camera. So I know what should be in it. There should be 3 items. So I'll slip that open. I'm just really shocked at how quick it came. I ordered this yesterday morning. Right, so what's the first item? Right, so this is the... Now I'll leave the main start. He loves using leftover bits of whatnots. This looks like the labels. She's used as packing material. Right, so this is something that I've seen on the market. It's had good reviews. I really don't know. It looks good. So this is the Display Reciprocating Sander, and you should get various shaped heads on it. You also, apparently you get the sanding paper with it, but they do like 6 different grits, but you only get 5 with it. So Obviously, one of the things that I tend to do is I will look at things and I will say, oh, can I make that cheaper? But I've got the I bought the refill, which I'll open that in a bit. Oh, it's actually got so many sheets of it. So we'll see what you get for your money. And then I think this is like £3 for all of these, and this was 30 something pounds. I don't know if he's put an invoice in it. Let's have a look. Sometimes he'll put an invoice in. No, he hasn't, because he sends the invoices by email. So this is the Display reciprocating sander. So what you should get, let's do a little bit of a zoom. So what we should get is we should get the sander, a power cord, self-adhesive sandpaper, arc sanding head, right angle sanding head, spherical sanding head, sledge sanding head, square, rectangle, slim and triangular. So first thing I have to do is figure out how you open the box. I don't want to wreck the box if it's a nice box, you see. I really do not know how you open this. I cannot figure it out. I'm going to end up wrecking the box. Right, okay, wrecking the box, guys. I can't figure out how to open the box. It looks like there's a little something there, but... Right, box wrecking. Sorry, guys. I know part of the joy is keeping it in a nice box, but you know I won't keep it in a nice box anyway. There we go. Oh, that's handy. So it does actually come in its own little case anyway. Right, that's a nice little case. That is nice. Right. So this is the sander, and there's the end. Obviously there's no bits on it. There's the charger cable, and that's how you switch it on. Right, so now apparently what you do is you press it once for the lower speed, and then you press it again for the middle speed, and then you press it again for the top speed, and then once more to turn it off. But one of those little clever designs is if you don't press the button to increase the speed within like 5 seconds, when you press the button again it'll actually switch it off. So low speed, middle speed, high speed, and it's got different colours, look. So let's put it on to low speed. We'll leave it running for a few seconds. And then, oh, look at that. So if you're using it on low speed, you don't have to cycle through the speeds in order to turn it off, look. That's really good. Right, so let's grab a random head. That's good because, look, if you look at the shape of the head, and you look at that, there's only one way you can put it on. So, oh, that's nice. I don't know if you can see that, but it's basically it's going forwards and backwards. So, yeah, that's handy. So it's basically, it's my little mouse sander, but for models. So these are the shapes. That's a rounded shape. That can be useful. That is a flathead. Doesn't actually say what they are. And that's, that's got a little curved end, whereas this one has got a flat end. So that might be good for like insides of fuselages or something. There's a right angle there. And then there's a rounded one. That can be useful. And then that looks like this but slim. So that's useful. And this, well, this looks an even slimmer version of this. But it's got a pointy bit on the end. I quite like that one. And then this one is triangular. So then you've got, what's this? This might be something useful. Oh, I see. So you can actually put a little sticker on telling you what grade sandpaper you've got on. So we've got, as I say, this comes with it. My only concern is if it's self-adhesive sandpaper, what do you do if you want to work through the grades? You can buy additional heads for it. Okay, where's the triangular bits then? There's no triangular bits. Ah, they're in that one. So you've only got so many for each. Do you know what? They aren't a perfect fit. Right, so if we want that, peel that off. I don't want to use that one, I want to use this flat one. So this one is 180 grit. I need to find something with some detail on it. Something that is visible that I can just use this. Oh, that's definitely worked, look. Now the box isn't completely flat, but the only trouble with sandpaper, you have to knock it off a bit. Yeah, that's fine. Look at that, and you got all the various shapes to get in there. Now, one thing I've just noticed, I don't know if that was by accident or by design, I wanted to put it on full speed, so I clicked it 3 times. It doesn't want to know, look. You actually have to wait. So, if I double click it, it doesn't work. So that's handy, because if you want low speed sanding and you accidentally click it twice, it's not going to go too fast for you. So that's handy, isn't it? Now this colour apparently is I've lost the box. Can you believe that? I put the box down somewhere and now I can't find it. Apparently the colour is supposed to tell you what the charge is like. Guys, I have utterly lost the box. It is gone. I don't know what I've done with it. Right, the next test, excellent. So what I wanted to know is if you put this back in the box with the head still on, you know, maybe you've been using this head, you're taking a break and you want to use it again later, do you have to take the head off? And look, the answer there is no, you don't have to take it off. That won't last long, but I do actually have a C-type charger, so you can plug that into your phone charger. I actually have a phone charger built on my desk, so I won't be using it. Oh, I didn't mean to turn that on, you know. Has that just made it go funny? Right, so that's charging up. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Right, so let's have a little look at the star of the show. Now, one of the questions I've got is, can I make these? You know me, I'll try and make things. So this should be, where are they? This should be one of every grade, which it looks like it is. This is obviously just a little starter set to get you going. And I bought the 1200 because the 1200 was the one that they didn't give you. You go up to 1200. They go up to 1000. Now, I'm assuming this is a negative. I'm trying to pick negatives here. So I'm going to assume that when you get that, take that sandpaper off. Let's say you want to work your way up through the grades. So now, whatever grade that is, you want to remove it. Oh, it's not too bad actually. Is that reusable? Because I want to take that off. Maybe put it there. So I've actually stuck it inside the box. And then I want to use the next grade down, up, whatever you want to call it, a higher number. And then use that, take that off. And then the next one. And then maybe tomorrow or the day after I want to come back. And I want to do sanding somewhere else. So I want to pull this off and put it back on. So far it seems like I can do it. It's stuck on there firm, but not so firm that you've got to wreck it to remove it. Now that's just probably me being stingy, but if you did lots of sanding, working your way up through the grades, and you changed that bit of sandpaper every time you did a new bit, you'd get through a sheet of them a day, and then it's going to start getting expensive. So yeah, I think I'll be changing them out. Right, so this is my little star of the show. This is what I bought. Let me also just look up that display, because I didn't think it was expensive. I think when they first came out, they seemed, excuse me, sorry about that. They looked, I think they were quite expensive when they first came out. And I'm trying to find the email, guys. I'm really sorry, I'm failing. So that sander was $35.99. I have seen it on AliExpress and Temu, but I think when you want a proper piece of equipment, is Temu going to cut it? I would imagine that that will be used a lot longer, and Temu wasn't even half the price. And I suspect that will last twice as long. So this is my first display product, and everyone raves about all of them. They say how good they are. Maybe they're like the new Tamiya, but without the higher price tag. Tamiya has a habit of getting ordinary things, putting a Tamiya brand on it, and charging more for it. But they do have, Games Workshop is very, very similar. Their products are very, very, very good, but they're also very expensive. And you know, some would say, you know, it is worth the money. Their paints, for example, they're like £3 or £4 for a pot, when you can get the same for like model colour for like £2.50. But Citadel colours are thick, they last longer, they're very, very well pigmented, and in the long run you're better off maybe getting the Citadels, but it's the outlay, and that's how I'm thinking about this. So $35.99, and it was £3.49 for a full set of, to give you an idea guys, this is what you get with it. Let's open this one up. So let me find the same grades. Right, so you get one of 5 different grades of the sandpaper. So you get 10 sheets, is it? So this is the 800 grit, and then look, these are all the main squarey bits, and then these are all the odd shaped ones. Look, there's a triangular one. Now if you buy, I'm going to put them all in the same one, you know, because why not? Now for £3.50 you get the same, what feels like the same size pack, but it's only one grit. So this is the 1200. So as you can see, they're all 1200, and you get half a sheet of that and half a sheet of the other one on one sheet, but you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sheets. So, and like I say, this is only the 1 grit. So what I'll probably do is I might buy some top ups in different grades, and then I can use these bags and then I can have one grit in each bag. See, at the moment you see I've got them all in the same bag, and I think that will work out well for me. Right, so star of the show, this cost me £90. Now, I've always been a fan of the Chinese airbrushes. I think they do the job very well. You know, when back in the days when airbrushes, a good airbrush was 300-400 quid. I think my first airbrush actually was an Iwata. It was a bottom of the range one, a bottom of the range Iwata, but I think it was like 150-200 quid. Now you pick yourself up an Chinese airbrush for 25 quid. No, it's not going to be as good as Iwata and all the rest of them. But for the price point, it is really good. And I have this little saying, just because you buy a good pair of football boots doesn't instantly make you a Premier League footballer. It might make a Premier League footballer 1% better, but when you're down at the beginner level and you buy a professional airbrush, I don't think it's going to make that much difference. Most of the usage of airbrushes is to do with the control, etc. And I've been using Chinese airbrushes for a while, and I still advocate Chinese airbrushes, but I've come across this airbrush, everyone's raving about it, and I absolutely love the features, and it's this is the Harder Steenbeck Ultra. Lately it used to be anything Japanese engineered, not Chinese, but anything Japanese used to be awesome, but actually anything made in Germany automatically has a certain standard. Harder Steenbeck, really good I believe they're one of the newer companies, but their standard is really high. And this is the Harder Steenbeck Ultra. Now I have been after the Ultimate Modelling Products Apex airbrush, and it's about £80-90, and it's been out of stock, and from what I can see, it's either been out of stock for a long time, or every time it comes into stock it sells out straight away. But this has got, now I don't regard myself as a beginner anymore, but this is a beginner's airbrush. It's a very good brush for beginners. And let's open it the correct way. Oh look, even the box is flashy, look. So this is the airbrush. So apparently what this is, when they made that brush, someone has actually tested that actual brush out. So I'm not the first one to use that brush. You can be disappointed at that if you want. Why am I expecting more? What am I expecting more of? Right, so that has actually been tested out. Now the next thing I like about this is that all of their parts fits every airbrush. So if I can't find the needle for the Ultra, I can buy a needle for something else. Now there's three main features about this. The first one, I'm not in any particular order. I'll do the negative first. So this cup, it pushes in like so. I know what I'm missing. No, I'm not missing. See, this is habit. Right, so I thought I was missing the cap for the brush, for the cup, but actually it hasn't come with one. And the reason for that, look at the cup design. Do you see how it's almost an egg shape? This is typically what your eggshell would look like after you've had hard-boiled eggs. It comes around like that. The reason being is I've got a mark on there. Is that mark meant, if you can see that mark there? Little circle. Don't know if that's good or bad. So as you're doing this, if your airbrush is a bit too full, the level of paint is going to slosh out the ends. That's why we have a cap. By having this rounded bit, it actually causes the liquid. I mean, if you're going to do that, it's going to fall out. But to a certain greater or lesser extent, it's going to cause it to go round, crash around like a wave. So it'll kind of come up and then go back down. The other negative is these push-in cups. If you keep pulling it out and putting it back in, over time it just wears and it becomes looser and looser. And I can't see a problem, but some people have complained that that cup is a little, see where my thumb is, my finger, it's a little bit too close. It doesn't seem to be a problem for me, but we'll see how we go. So this is designed primarily for miniature painters, and it has this. Well, first of all, you cannot pull that trigger back unless you've pushed down first, and the reason for that is it's bad practice. You don't pull the paint back with no air, so you cannot pull that back without applying air. That's going to come off. That's for an air hose, but I'm probably going to put a quick release thing on there, because now I'm running about 4 different airbrushes, but I've only got 2 hoses. Right, so you can't pull that back. Actually, you can. No, you can't. Right, so you can't pull that back unless you've applied the air, so that's good practice. I've just noticed actually the shape of this trigger. It's actually quite nice. I'll put it through a big test one day and I'll see how it affects my fingers. Right, so this is on default mode, so I can apply that trigger all the way back. Okay, now if I turn this, right, you can't see it, but it says the word prime. Now that is now set up for priming, and you'll notice that it's locked the cap. Right, so if I twist it to there, you can see how far this, right, it'll go all the way back to there. Okay, and then if I turn it to there, it only goes far as back as there. And that is, if that's what I'm priming, that lighter, I want to be about 1 hand width away, and I'm hitting the primer, and that's the kind of distance that I'm priming. Okay, now if you twist it again, you now get base, and this is for applying a base coat. And what it does is it locks. Yeah, there isn't a lot of difference, but you can now, it's restricted the needle a little tiny bit more, not a lot. I just had to have a little look. Maybe about 0.5 millimeter. It's really not much in it, and that's the ideal distance for. That's the ideal trigger thing for base coating. So you get your model, you've got your primer all over it. Now you want to apply 1 base coat all over. And I think that's also done from a hand width away, about a hand width. Now if you want to do zenithal highlighting or fine detail work, you now have 3, and that is for doing finer detail work, and you work about 3 fingers away. No longer a hand, it's about 3 fingers away. If you then want to do finer detail work, and this looks like it's allowing you a little bit more trigger, right, number 2, and that's because you work 2 fingers away. Can you see the details getting a little bit closer? And now you can trigger it 1 more time, and it's got 1. This is really fine detail work. You work about 1 finger away, and it's just really good for a beginner. Obviously another difference that it makes, because it's got proper chrome plating, it makes the cleaning a lot easier. And then one other feature I like, I was a little bit wary of it at first, it's got these holes in the tip, and they've got the cuts have been angled, and all it is, if you get tip dry, and we all get this, all you need to do now is just shove a brush in there, and they're angled to clean your tip. So you can just get on with this. Airbrush is all about getting on and spraying paint on. Bit of tip brush. Now I don't like taking nozzles off. Yeah, so I'm not over keen on these, but this is the nozzle. This is a whole nozzle. It used to be a little tiny nut, and it used to be locked in, but this seems to be the new way of doing it. I actually thought, because you get this a lot on the Chinese brushes, and I actually thought they did it like that because it was simpler design. But if Harder and Steenbeck are doing it, there's obviously an advantage to doing it. So yeah, there's my new airbrush, guys. So this is going to be tested out with acrylic paints, and then I'm going to, if I really like it, I'll get another one, and I want to use these for the Mr. Colour paints. I want one airbrush for using acrylic paints, and I want another airbrush for using the Mr. Colours, so that they don't get clogged up and stuff in the back. But yeah, there it is, 90 quid, guys. That's about the same price as an Apex. Now, one thing I have noticed about it, it's quite heavy. Not too heavy, but it's got some weight behind it. Where's the centre of gravity? Yeah, look, that is where the centre of gravity is, roughly where the hose is coming, and that's where you're going to hold it. Because you're going to hold it slightly in front, it's going to push the centre of gravity back a bit, because it's going to be heavier there, so it's not going to fall forward too much. Yeah, look, this is it, look, loosely holding it in the hand. I like that, it's well balanced. For me, someone else might look at it and they'll think complete opposite. Nice and simple, you know, you get it, I mean, I'm not going to take that cap off though. Yeah, simple airbrush. You want to bang the paint in, you want to get the paint on the model, you want to get the airbrush cleaned ready for next time. Yeah, and you don't need to strip it apart too often, and it just looks like an airbrush that you can just get on with. If I get on very well with that airbrush, I will be buying more of them. If I don't, I'll carry on with my Chinese brushes, but I haven't heard anyone say anything bad about Harder and Steenbeck. So this is actually my second branded airbrush. I'm not actually 100% sure where my Iwata is, but my Iwata, that's very simple. You can't even adjust the trigger on it, but it's got like a 0.5 needle. I forget the size of this needle. Oh, it's a 0.45 needle. Now, when I first saw 0.45 needle, I thought, oh, you're not going to be able to do any fine detail work with it. Exact opposite. When you think 0.45 is, excuse me one sec. So my apologies for that. That was a postman. Today is obviously Christmas because I've got another parcel that I wasn't expecting so quickly. But let me just finish talking about this. So 0.45 millimeters. Let's, for the sake of argument, let's call that 0.5. So it's half a millimeter. Now a half a millimeter is that much on the ruler. Okay, that's nothing. That's 1 millimeter. So half of that is about that. That's how thin you can get your lines, right? That is ridiculously small. Now, obviously, you have to think about how an airbrush works. It's 0.45 at the tip, okay? And then it starts getting bigger because it sprays that way. So what's going to happen is very, very close. It's going to be this wide. And then if you pull it further away, it's going to go, let's say it goes like that. So this point here is 0.5, this point here is maybe 4 or 5 millimeters. So if you're going in really close, remember with your number 3 setting, with your pressures right, the consistency of the paint is all correct, you can achieve half a millimeter. And let's have a look at their little test. Look at these lines there. Yeah, look how ridiculously small that line is. That is less than half a millimeter. Oh, we'll call it half a millimeter. Yeah. Now the lines here, they're about a millimeter. If you go down there, you're talking half a centimeter. So 0.45 is absolutely fine, and a 0.5 will clog up less than a 0.2. Now my Iwata is I think that's a 0.5 or maybe even 0.6, probably a 0.5. And I've always found it very, very good for priming. Priming and base coats. Because when I got it, I didn't have the basic control of the trigger. So it was like, put the air, pull the trigger back, prime. And it worked very well. Now I'm getting a little bit better. I'm using it a bit better. So now I've got 2 good airbrushes and four reasonable airbrushes. Right, guys, so give me a second. So my order from MJR Hobbies has just come in. Now they only send out on a Friday. Now what usually happens, they normally use Hermes, I forget what they're called now, Hermes, one of the courier companies anyway. I've genuinely forgotten what they're called now. They used to be called Hermes. Now they send out on a Friday, and it generally arrives, most of the time it will get here on a Saturday. If it doesn't get here Saturday, it'll get here on a Monday. Now they've said that they sent this out Royal Mail, so I wasn't expecting it much before Tuesday. And that ring that you heard was my latest order. Now I had some stuff, look, got my coaster, collecting these coasters now. So I had some stuff on pre-order and it's actually come in late. I don't know why it's come in late. I'm not blaming MJR, but it has arrived. And then in between it arriving and them sending out sending it out, something else came in stock. So I've got quite a lot. And so I'm just going to pull them out as they come in. So I got this. I thought this was reasonably priced. And this is more going to be for testing. Because I knew I was going to be getting an airbrush, I wanted to try this mottling effect out. Now this has cost me £30. Right, it's nothing special, it's just a 0. It's a Tamiya kit, so I think it'll go together quite well. We've got some figures there. What are the figures for? But the main objective with this model is trying out this pattern. I don't know if it's going to work out okay, but you know, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it's 30 quid gone. And this, I don't believe there's such thing as a failure. I believe it's a learning experience. So if I don't get it right, at least I'll know where I went wrong, and I'll try it again. I've got this little, oh, I thought there was something in there. That's packing material. What do you want to see next, guys? Oh, here we go. I thought I did. Ah, that's where I got the prices muddled up. Right, yes. So yeah, I looked at the invoice and I was seeing £15 and I was seeing £30. I've told you 30. This isn't £30, this is £15, but I bought 2. And again, the reason I bought 2 is, there we go, look. So I can do that version. If that version comes out okay, lovely. If it doesn't, I've got a version that I'll be able to find a little bit easier to do. Like, you've got this green one and you've got this, I'm going to call it white. I know that isn't white, but yeah, that's where I got a bit muddled up. So £15, you can't moan at that, can you, for a test? I spend more than £15 on cigarettes sometimes, and they're gone in a day, and I'm coughing as a result. What do you want to see next? This has been on order for a while. This is Magic Factory A4M Skyhawk. This, oddly enough, is something I don't have in my collection. I tell you, I'm a US Navy nut, and I don't have an A4. Bit embarrassing, really, isn't it? So we've got Naval Weapons Evaluation Facility version. We've got a US Marines version. Have we not got a Navy version? Doesn't matter. Marines is just as good as the Navy when it comes to the aircraft anyway. Oh, that is sealed, semi-sealed. Oh, there you go. So, oh, we've got a pilot. Oh, pilot set. Oh, so we've got pilots with it. I don't often use the pilots. I quite often have. Now, this one I might actually do in the air. Oh, there's a lot of plastic actually, because it's not a massive aircraft, is it? Look at the wingspan. Compared to some of the aircraft I've got, it's quite small, isn't it? There we go. Cat's investigating the bag. Now that looks like it could be full size. You think that's full size, guys? That ain't far off. Yeah, I think that might be full size, which is rather handy. So we've got a Marines version, and we've got the evaluation centre. I don't like that. I can see why they've done it like that. They're obviously black and white like that, so that they can see it and see which way round it is. But yeah, no, I'm going to be doing that version. Diamondbacks. VMA 131, US Marine Corps Marine Attack Squadron 131, Naval Air Station Joint Reserve Base, Willow Grove, June 22nd 1994. So that's the version I'll do on this one. Right, I'll have another look at, you know, when I build it I'll do a full unboxing. When I do my show here's what I got videos, I don't open the bags. Right, so play has been temporarily suspended because there's the box. As you can see, there's a my quality control inspector is on the case at the moment. I'll get this one out. What's this one? Right, so this one, oh, that A4, that cost, I thought that was quite expensive actually, £56. It is expensive, but actually it looks like it might be worth it. So the next model I've got, just for something to do, something completely different. This has cost me £56.95. This is the Meng 1:24 scale McLaren MP4/4. I believe it's Ayrton Senna's car, and I think it might even be the one that he crashed and died in. So it's a little bit on the special side. So I will do my absolute best, but I'm kind of starting to get into vehicles. I did a car and I thought, oh, you know, if you look at scale models as get your plastic, glue it together, paint it, then all models are the same. And I kind of went into the car with that attitude, and I was sadly mistaken. It's actually very small, but they are actually, have you ever seen a like close up Formula 1 car? They are really small. But this is all the gumph on it, as I call it. I won't bother reading all the text. It's a plastic model, tour kit, doesn't include hobby tool, glue or paint, etc, etc. You need a hobby knife, you need a pair of tweezers, and you need some cutters, and you need some glue. Right, so building the engine up, it's quite nice. I like it when they do title each stage, look, engine assembly. So if I was to do this like a part work, video 1 would be called engine assembly part 1, engine assembly part 2, and then it builds up bit by bit, and I just hope I can do it some justice. So there is. Now it looks a bit plain, doesn't it? And I think that is because in 1988 they would have been plastered with tobacco advertising, and now you're not allowed to advertise tobacco, so I think they've removed it. I'll have a look for some aftermarket, because that, I believe that would have been, I think the advertising on that was a cigarette brand that is red and yellow, and was advertised by a cowboy, and begins with Ma. That's all I can really tell you. So there's the colour call outs, and they're asking you to use Meng colours, water based colour, Acrusia. So I'll have to do some conversions on there. There's no way. AK, Meng AK, so they're all AK paints, so they'll be easy enough to but to be honest with you, these are all basic colours anyway, aren't they? Red and white, and then you'll have silvers and things like that. Let's have a look at the colours. So we've got middle yellow, transparent red, gloss black, gloss white, gloss red, gloss blue, light green, dark blue, gold, silver, brass, gunmetal, burnt red, chrome. Most of those are standard colours, aren't they? It's not like if you're doing an RAF cockpit and it has to be a specific shade of green, and this manufacturer's cockpit green isn't quite the same as the other one. Right, I have 2 kits left. Both of these cost $59.95. They have been released in a smaller scale, and they've now released them in 1:72 scale, and apparently they're massive. And these are them. And these are, I'm just going to show you the box art for both, so I'm just going to open one box. But this is, which one? Yeah, this is the one I wanted to look at more, because, no, I'll show you this box, but this is one. And apparently it's quite heavy actually. Let's have a quick look in both boxes. Oh, to win cash prizes. So that is that. I've seen this built in. I don't think they gave you a scale, but I'm suspecting if this is 1:72, I suspect it was 1:144 scale. So I shall look forward to build. Looks quite simple to paint, because it's just basically all the same colour but weathered. So most liked. Oh, I see. You've got to make the model, send a picture in, and if you're the lucky one, you win cash prizes. So what I'm going to end up doing is rushing. I actually wanted that. They did that in the other model, and I did like it. And then this is, so you've basically, I've got one vehicle for, I don't know much about Dune, to be honest with you, but you've got one vehicle from each side now. Look at the size of those. Jesus, this isn't going to be small, is it? Display case with it. Now, Harkonnens, are they the bad guys? I think they are, aren't they? Weren't these other guys, the Atreides, weren't they the good guys, and these guys were coming and stealing the spice or something? I need to watch the films. Oh, I like that. Bald guy. He's easier to paint, isn't he? I'm trying to get, here we are, here's the bit with the rotors on it. So there's the size of the rotor. So now you kind of get an idea of the scale of the aircraft, look. So it's going to be, oh god, I'm going to have to zoom out. I can't get my hand in. So if that's the size of the rotor blades, I'm looking at them being folded back. So I think the whole thing is going to be, yeah, it's going to be about that long, I reckon. So this and maybe a quarter. So it's a fair old size, isn't it? And then you got a choice of landing gear deployed. And I think these rotors are actually movable. And then you got the display base. So that looks fun. So yeah, so right. No more knocks at the door. So now I've lost the box lid. Here it is. So that's my latest purchases. I'm trying to clear the room up. It's getting harder and harder because I keep adding to it. So I do have a few models left on order. Another Japanese one, and I can't remember the other two. But I'm quite happy with those Zeros. So I'll get one of those built. 15 quid a model, guys. You know, to use it for practice and the modelling effect. And then maybe if I get that one done okay, I'll try and find myself a cheap Messerschmitt 109, and I'll do that. But yeah, it's just so with the airbrush and the Zero, I'm made. I can put that harder Steenbeck to full use. Right, guys, this is a very long video. Hopefully you're sitting there at the desk doing something while you're watching this or listening to it, and then that way you haven't wasted half of your life. Right, so guys, that's it for me then for this week. Next week I have got I think I'm off on Saturday. What is it? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm off on Friday, and then I'm working Saturday and Sunday. So I will be making the next channel update on the Friday. Saturday evening I'll be working. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, come back Friday morning, and I leave again Saturday evening. So I might do another one Saturday evening. I don't know I don't know if it's going to be a good update next week. I say this every time, don't I? Because I'm going away, not much is going to happen with the house. But obviously there's models to be made. And I've now got to get the Warhammer done, because that's now being released next week. And I've got to get another B-type bus made out. But now I've got my Display sander. I've got to do some sanding for stage 4, and I just really can't be bothered. It's quite a tight space as well, so I just can't be bothered doing it by hand. Echo's just giving me a notification. I don't know what it's for. Oh, I have got an Amazon delivery. Really boring Amazon delivery. I've actually got my computer is connected to the TV, and the TV is set to repeat whatever's on this middle monitor, and I had like a 3-meter cable, and I nearly broke the TV because I had it going across, and I pushed the spray booth back. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to tack it all along the skirting board so it goes around the edge. Well, of course, it's the maths thing, isn't it? The distance of a straight line is less than going round a right angle, and it just wasn't long enough, and I wasn't looking, and I pushed it and I damaged the cable, and I thought, well, I need a new cable anyway, so I bought a 7.5 meter cable, which that should be way more than I need, so that's on its way. So I expect that notification was, but that's not anything interesting to show. It's just a cable with some ends. That's it. Right, guys, so take care. I will catch you next week, and hopefully I'll have lots of interesting stuff to tell you. I won't have the opportunity to try these new toys out because well, it's 11 o'clock now. I need to go back to bed because I'm working a night shift, and I've not got a lot of time between shifts. It's a bit of a funny thing about the shifts is you go to London and you get about a 12-hour break. So you get like 11 hours in your hotel room. You come home, you end up with, say, 11 hours off. Well, by the time you travelled the hour home, had some sleep, spent an hour or so getting ready for work, you know, you're talking 7 or 8 hours. So it's literally come home, go to bed. My job is fantastic, but it's not 100% perfect. There are things that, you know, trade-offs, but I love my job. Right, guys, catch you next week. I hope you get up to lots of interesting things, and I hope I do as well, so I've got something to tell you. Take care, guys.